Hey, I'm Tyler with Bikerumor, and this is the Friday Yard Sale where we spill our thoughts on everything that came across our desks over the past week and the time it takes to drink a pint of beer. With me is Watts Dixon, owner of this fine establishment. We're sitting at Revolution Cycles. You can see the taps on either end of the screen. So let's start off with what we're drinking. What do you got?
I have a Dale's Pale Ale. It's kind of my go-to.
Stand by. Big supporter of the bike scene too, brand.
Exactly. I've
got the Deschutes Fresh Squeezed IPA, which is one of my favorite IPAs. A little bit of citrus in there. It's very refreshing on this cold winter day, the first snow day in Greensboro for the year.
Hence my jaunty neckerchief.
So we got that covered. We're going to start in like a couple of things that got a lot of attention on the site this week, starting with my review of the Redshift Sports Shock Stop suspension stem, only because the last time we really saw suspension stems was probably a decade or more before we even launched Bikerumor. And I don't know if you remember some of those old ones.
Oh, we have one.
Yeah, they had like a parallelogram spring, or like a really small elastomer trying to accommodate 3 inches or so of travel. It was just a bad idea. But people seem to either love the fact that they're back for gravel and cross, which is what this one's all about, or they just hated it. But have you guys had any experience with that with the old shop before you got this place?
Not through the shop. I mean, I know some folks that are riding them. And
still, like the old ones or the newer, the new
ones? Yeah.
Okay.
They're also sponsored by Redshift, so they have to enjoy them. But
yeah, it makes sense.
But
yeah, I liked it. I think check out the review if it's at all piquing your interest. For it's only a centimeter, maybe a centimeter and a half of travel. It just kind of takes that edge off them. Even when you got the big like 40 mil. Gravel tires, it does a job.
I haven't looked at the internals, so I have no idea how it actually works.
It's just it comes with little 5 tiny little elastomers, and you just pick, like, each one's a little bit different durometer, hardness, and you just pick the combination that works for you. They've got a little guide, and yeah, it works. I mean, I followed the guide, set it up, and it with all of my weight, or if I hit something really hard, it's probably getting about a centimeter of cushion on it.
Would you recommend it for a rigid bike?
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's cheating.
Rigid bikes are stupid.
Cheating.
All right, moving on. So this week we really kind of got the full flow of our editors' gift guides going on, and what we realized over the past couple of years is we've always called it kind of our wish list. And the truth of the matter is, most of those things on the list is stuff that we've gotten in and already reviewed and ridden. Sometimes we get to keep the stuff, sometimes we send it back, but the point is, it's really more of like an editor's choice type thing. We just don't call it a big fancy editor's choice, the best of. But between the 5 or 6 or 7 of us every year that put one together, it's kind of like the things that we like the most and that we would recommend to our friends the most.
I've got mine today. Mine is a wish list. Mine is a straight up wish list. I want y'all to buy me those things
and deliver them to Revolution Cycles in Greensboro, North Carolina. Yours is coming up. Yours is due next week.
Yeah, I know. I'm working on it.
I know. I'm
working on it.
Last
I got
year
a lot going on.
We posted yours on like the 24th or something.
Yeah, I think one year I was after Christmas.
Could be.
That's what it is.
It's funny. It sort of goes with character.
Yeah. I got a lot going on.
All right. What are 1 or 2 things you really want this year? Like, what stood out of all the stuff at Bikerumor? I know you're
my
religiously.
Experience. I'm really. Oh, of the things that y'all reviewed?
Or experience too. That's kind of we always start with that.
Experience is the one I'm really looking forward to writing about, and that I can't spoil it.
All right. Hopefully this week, next week, whatever, the week of December 9th-ish, 10th. I don't even know what today is. It all goes by too quick. Early December, early mid-December. Look for Watts' holiday gift list.
It's gonna knock your socks off.
Yeah. Well, mine goes up today, so by the time you're seeing this video, it should maybe already be posted if I'm on time. And I will say that it's really like exploration by bike, and so I've got a gravel bike in there that I really like, that we built up as the world's funnest bike for this year.
I didn't read that article.
Yeah, there's a lot going. I'm actually changing some parts out. That Redshift stem replaced the rigid stem on there, and then I've had some issues with the C-post that I've had to fix. So.
What kind of C-post was it? Can we say that?
Yeah, it was the Laguna Cycles one. They sent some replacement parts. It's a boutique brand, and it's one of those things where I think I finally learned in my years of riding and trying to build the lightest stuff ever, that sometimes the lightest part isn't necessarily the best part for the job, especially when you're keeping your weight and banging across, like rutted roads and whatnot, but still a weight weenie at heart.
I don't feel like I'm being very dynamic.
That's all right. It's the first time. We're just getting warmed up for this, right? Yeah, so editor's choice things, if we don't really call it that, but if you want to see kind of what we think are some of the best products, check out all those posts. There's a bunch of them up now, and just search gift guide and you'll probably see it. And kind of speaking of gift guides and stuff, we've got a deal going with Jensen USA every year now that
you're in a bike shop.
Yes, I know,
motherfucker.
So what I think I wanted to segue into that was it's online's happening, right? So let's just jump right to some of the deals that go on, like Cyber Monday and Black Friday. We were trying to do this last week, and which was kind of the tail end of the whole Cyber Monday, Cyber Week. But we'll pick that up because you had the flu and we're miserably sick.
Yeah. And
we've been trying for months to do this, and either one of us is out of town or something comes up, or we just forget, honestly. But so as a shop owner, the whole Cyber Monday and online sales, how is that affecting you now that it's almost the norm?
I don't know. I mean, Black Friday is kind of a nothing for us. I mean, Black Friday is really where everyone's inundating, strip malls, those kind of places. I think big businesses get a what the fuck ever on Black Friday. Small Business Saturday was something that was invented by Amex to get people to use their gift cards in businesses. I appreciate them promoting small business, but it's like a Hallmark holiday. And Cyber Monday, I mean, what the fuck? Those...
it's an excuse not to do work when you're at work, really.
I guess so. I mean, and as a person who... I don't pay attention to what those deals are. I just don't. I don't go shopping on Friday. I'm at the shop on Saturday hoping people come in, and people did. And on Monday, I'm just not paying attention. We got other stuff to do. I will say that, we had at least one person come in and just be like, "Hey man, I finally got one of those trainers." And I was like, "Oh, cool. You do realize I could have sold you that." It's a very odd thing to be in a business that people will
brag about the deals they got
from you as friends. Yeah. Yeah, it gets you a little jaded and bitter.
Well, it's tough. So you must be able to look at it from their side too, right? If something's 30-40% less online,
oh, absolutely,
it's kind of tough to pay full retail nowadays because everything's on sale everywhere all the time.
It is. I will say that I don't think that bike shops are purely a retail establishment, and that sounds a little odd, but
there's a big service component. And I mean, does everyone discount shop their coffee? No, I mean they're willing to pay $3 for a cup of coffee because they want to support that coffee shop and they enjoy going there and they enjoy that ritual and stuff like that. So the people that support us are the people that enjoy supporting us. You can get anything cheaper online. Yeah. Coffee included. Burritos. That'll be.
But
the
you
day,
like
right?
supporting your burrito joint. I'm just.
Well, the beer, you can't really get beer online yet, and that's one thing.
Yeah, that's
really
true.
Set you apart in this town, anyway. Is you've got typically 8 beers on tap, 7 now I see, but
yeah, we used to have 10, but that was too many for a bike shop. I felt like
it's a lot of inventory of beer.
Yeah, I mean we'd go through it, but it just meant that we honestly had nowhere to store
bikes.
Well, yeah, and backstop. Yeah, so it's like no, we'll cut down to 7. That's plenty.
Yeah, it's solid, and you guys do pretty decent. I mean, you pull in non-cyclists, I think, on a lot of
afternoons.
For
sure. Tonight will be a big night. I mean, there'll be a ton of folks in here just drinking, and I mean, every Friday we have a big crowd in here, and that's a huge part of it. And I mean, for us, this is what I mean, when I'm saying bike shops are kind of more than retail. We've always been social hubs and that kind of thing, and so our favorite part is kind of the beer and having all these folks in here and just being a part of that. Yeah, and then making a little money on it. It's nice. Yeah, because fuck retail. I hate selling stuff. Working on bikes is fun. Yeah. I mean, but it doesn't fill my soul. Being here with you.
Or your bank account. Oh, so sweet. So the other thing that came across today was a few more brands are going consumer direct, bike brands. So Intense announced that they've got their, consumer direct plan, which is part of their, kind of, I guess, like omni-channel retail strategy. So dealers and direct and this, that, and the other. And then YT is doing something similar as they're rolling out more and more in North America. The brands that you carry. So you carry what now? Because it seems like it shifts, but I know you've got
really
Salsa are pretty
Kona and
regular.
Salsa are pretty big lines. I mean, they're it. I mean, we still do Santa Cruz, still do Niner. I'm sure that's a topic.
Yeah, that was a hot topic last week for sure. But so like those brands, because you used to do Raleigh too, years ago. But as these brands, like, let's just say Kona or Santa Cruz or Salsa decided that they wanted to go have a consumer direct thing, like how would that affect you? And have they talked about it yet?
I mean, Kona has something in the works, but it's very, very, very IBD friendly and supportive. I mean, it's actually a great setup.
I'm not opposed to. Like you click an order and then come pick it up here.
Exactly.
And so you guys get full cut, which is kind of what Trek's doing with theirs, I think.
Right. From what I understand, and we're totally really down with that kind of setup. I mean, I understand wanting to reach more people, and
does that mean that you have to stock fewer sizes? Like at that point, you can kind of have like one, or maybe not even have that model on the floor, which
potentially.
That's
just it. I feel like for a bike shop, the biggest overhead is just your inventory, aside from rent and all that, is just having tons of inventory.
Right.
And man, if you're not selling it, then you're dead in the water.
Yeah. Then you got to discount it, and then
yeah, exactly,
not making
and
it
it doesn't do anyone any good. So the current setup with what Kona's trying to do, I'm on board. I'm not opposed to the direct thing as long as it doesn't undercut us directly as a business, because I do feel like the bike shops have been the infantry in putting that word out there. I mean, especially in the local markets. Like Salsa, nobody knew who Salsa was before we started selling it here. Kona, there's another shop doing it before us, but before us, no.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Like I feel like the shops are responsible for bringing a brand into a market too. Before, I hate to say before the internet, but I think before like just these past few years of seeing this, because I know for a while we were without a Trek dealer in town, and like the amount of Treks you saw on the group rides and on the trails dropped drastically. We haven't had a Cannondale dealer here in a decade, and you don't see any Cannondales in town, like almost never and stuff. And so I think that's one area where the retailers definitely play, is just somebody being able to see it, like it's top of mind. And so I wonder how that'll play out for the brands that are relying on this consumer direct model. They're going to have to spend a whole lot more on marketing to keep their brand in front of the consumer so that people think of it when they're shopping for a bike, right?
For sure. I mean, I'm very curious to know how Raleigh's doing with their direct model. I mean, we have built X amount of Raleigh bikes that went direct to a person's house, because that's their model now. That's why we don't really do them anymore. It just was no reason to. That, and also in our market, pushing Raleigh was a little difficult. It didn't necessarily have its own cachet.
Right.
So, yeah, the amount of work that they need to do now to put themselves out to the consumers, we'll see how that pans out.
Now, do you guys, I know like our commenters are notorious for like joking that the shops would charge twice to assemble a bike that came in direct, but like if you get a bike and you charge extra for assembly, like are you happy to get that assembly work? Because
we're happy to get it on a bike shop bike, I would say. So a brand like Raleigh, sure, man. I mean, it's just labor. Like we're good at that. We do it well. We make it safe. I mean, yeah. It's when you get one of those Denali road garbage bikes, whatever, that's super difficult. Those bikes are almost always just a total nightmare to put together.
Right. All right. Well, I'm almost done with my beer, but I can keep coming up with stuff to talk about.
I'm moving slow.
Well, let's take this little conversation a step further then. So we don't have one in our area yet that I know of, but like the mobile bike shops, like Beeline and Velofix and stuff. How do you see that happen? Because the other shop in town, I'm totally spacing on the name. He had kind of like a little mobile workstation set up on his motorbike that he would go around to some events for a bit.
I'll be honest, man. Right now, I don't see it, especially in our market. Potentially in a larger metropolitan area, I could see the benefit of something like that, where parking at the shops is difficult, just even getting there. But for us, man, it's just no. It's not interesting. And B, I just don't see it working out. And if that's the future, I mean, I like working on bikes, but I like being part of a bike shop a lot more than just servicing.
Sitting in a van somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not really what we do.
Yeah. Well, you guys have kind of become a little bit of a hub of community activity and stuff.
Yeah,
and this
right,
is
Ben?
a great meeting point. Yeah, Ben.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your charisma. You're so vivacious.
Ben, mobile repair units.
I mean, I think it might be a decent addendum to what we already do.
Addendum, exactly. But as a
But it's not. I mean, for us, it's not a complete business model. But again, a smaller market might work out super big.
Could be. Well, that was the topics.
I want to watch
I
this
had on
before
the
you.
list. Not gonna happen. It's going live.
No.
We're filming live.
No.
No, it's not live. I have to
Okay.
do a little bit of
Sure.
editing to add the intro. Yeah,
Phew, because I don't know. Yeah.
I'm
Have a
sweating.
good one, man.
Huh. Yeah, totally.
Right on. Well, that was, I guess, a wrap on the first episode ever of the Bikerumor Friday Yard Sale. So thanks a ton for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Our goal is to make this a regular every Friday feature.
I'll have more pep next time, guys. I just,
give
you
them a
know how
coffee
it is.
stout early.
Yeah.
Right on. See y'all next week and have a great weekend.
Yeah, dude.
Actually, that's a good. Yeah, I do want to see some of it.